Good morning, Ricardo. This is David Potter from Austin, Texas, USA. You didn't say what version of Chief Architect that you have, so I'm just using the latest version here, X11. I thought I'd show you this is just a blank plan that I opened. What I wanted to show you is over here under the Edit menu and Preferences. Edit Preferences controls the way the program works all the time. So you can see there's a category down here. I'm going to cover the whole thing. There's a category here of interest to you, materials list. I'm going to left click on that. And as you can see, it says include these categories, or you can exclude them by unchecking or include them by leaving them checked. So that's one way that you can control what the materials list calculates and what it ignores. And then we got report style here. Include these columns. So you can include those columns or exclude them. You'll have to look at the reference manual for what this means. I don't use the materials list all that much, never have. I used it early on when I first started using Chief because my boss wanted me to take a look at it, and I figured out that in order for the materials list to be accurate for remodeling, a remodeling company, the person creating the Chief Architect.plan file is going to have to be absolutely a professional level user, because the materials list measures what you modeled in the plan file. It doesn't have any judgment about materials. It just measures what's there, and it'll apply prices that you assign to it. And so if you want an accurate materials list from this software, the model has to be exactly perfect in terms of how you're going to build the actual house in the field. And to the degree that you did not create it perfect will be the degree of inaccuracy of the materials list. And so we decided that wasn't very useful, in that you'd have to spend your time not becoming a remodeling contractor or delivering remodeling. You'd have to become an absolute perfectionist with the software, which I eventually, years later, did, but we abandoned that as a consideration. Anyway, there's other settings here and so forth, and I'm not going to go into those. They're explained in the reference manual. And again, there's columns here you can control under that. Now, once you've done that, under tools, you can go over here to these various things. And what I would recommend is that you practice with them and confront and study the results of your practice. And then when I say reference manual, just to make sure you understand what I'm saying, it's under the help menu, view reference manual, left click. It opens in a browser. You can download this PDF file to your hard drive using this command, or you can print it. I wouldn't recommend printing it. It's 1,428 pages. I would recommend downloading it, because then with it downloaded, it's easier to search through. But everything about the program, everything it does, is discussed in detail in this reference manual. I'm certain there's a section on materials list, and if that's your interest, then you need to study that and then practice what you studied with the program. Open a simple test plan and create materials lists and observe the results, and use edit preferences. Let me close this. When I say use edit preferences, I'm talking about edit preferences, back edit preferences. And here, and then you'll learn by after your study and your practice, you'll know better what to tweak to get exactly the results you want. I don't think there's any settings of any import over here under edit default settings. This is specific to a plan file and not just the way it operates all the time, but a specific plan file. I don't see anything in there about materials list. But there is a section under materials and where you can control what materials are being assigned to objects in general. And then there's edit default settings for well, let's take a look at Windows. And there's default settings for Windows, whether they have casings or not. And then there's a materials settings for Windows. There's material settings for doors, cabinets. Everything's here. There's cabinets right there. So there's a lot to learn, and if you want to master it, as I have, I'm no master of the materials list because I just haven't needed to use it. I'm a master of what I've needed to use, which I've used most things. And I have created materials lists for clients who wanted them. I tell those clients that it's going to take a lot longer for me to create a model that's useful enough to create an accurate materials list. And, are you willing to pay for that extra time? Kind of deal. And I've only had, in 30 years of using this program, I've only had a couple of clients who are willing to do that. And they were happy with the results. And but it does take quite a bit longer to create an accurate .plan file that will give you accurate materials lists. That's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it helps you in some way. And va con Dios.